Thank you very much, Pastor. May I greet the congregation. Praise the Lord. As you have been told, I'm Dr. Pamela Odhiambo, the women representative of Migori County. I am born again. I love the Lord. Today, allow me to bring on my own behalf that of my family and the entire Migori County that elected me to the National Assembly, and as the patron of ODM in Migori County, allow me to bring the condolences of Migori County to the family of the late Jakoyo Midiwo. Allow me to say pole to Baba and family. I am aware that in a short span of not more than 2 or 3 weeks, you've lost 3, 4 to 5 people in the same family. It is heavy, colleagues, but let the Lord help you carry this burden. I call Jakoyo Otada, and as I stand here, colleagues, I would like to make this congregation aware that Jakoyo Midiwo made my village in the rural Wasimbete ward of Sona West in Migori County honor me and my family before anybody knew I would be one time called honorable. This happened when the government of Kenya appointed me to head the BOM of a school called Machicha Mixed, and my husband headed another school called Kitabai. Both these schools had no infrastructure. There was nothing. Like in this Machicha, there was one room which was shared by the Form 4s and the principal as the office. When I started pacing up and about to get who to help me, the then MP of Sona West, Honorable Obiro Ndiege, connected me to Jakoyo Midiwo. Jakoyo came to Sona West in that village. He led the donation that we held that created a record in that area. 3.6 million was raised for the 2 schools. As I stand here today, the rest is history. Those schools are well built and we are continuing to equip them. May the soul of Jakoyo Midiwo rest in peace, and may the living God comfort his wives, the children, and those who are close to him. Thank you very much. Be courageous, Baba. It is well with our soul. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the Honorable. We are doing so well. You're taking us short time. We appreciate you for that. Thank you. Dr. Nyikal, do you want to pass your, Honorable Nyikal, you want to pass condolences?
The leaders of the church, our leaders, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, the party leaders, Musali And Wetangula, Kalonzo Musali, the family of Jakoyo Midiwo, all my elected colleagues, let me take this opportunity on behalf of myself, my family, and the people of Seme to pass my really heartfelt condolences on the death of Honorable Jakoyo Midiwo. I met Jakoyo, I think around 2004, when I was the Director of Medical Services and then was an MP. And what he did showed at that time what he always stood for, the people he served. He came with the MPs of Siaya and he said, we need an MTC in Siaya and we'll put CDF to start it. Now, there is an MTC in Siaya. That's the call for you. When I decided to get into politics, just before the campaigns, after I'd been nominated, he called me to his house very early in the morning and said, Nyikal, this is now politics, I will now show you. He asked me, do you have change? I want to show you the power of the 50 shillings note. You will need it. So he brought out a bundle like this. I think it was 300,000. And then I asked him, do I give you the change? He said, no. If you use this well, you will be elected, but I'll show you other things. So that was Jakoyo. When I went into Parliament, he told me, Nikal, I've done roads from Game, and they can't pass the river Awaj. I want you to get a bridge or bridges, and I'll show you how. You have been in government, you have contacts, and we have about 3 bridges across that road. He actually came to open one of the bridges. He came in a helicopter, and you know how that helps. So that was Jakoyo for you. On the floor, on the House, we really wanted him to be the leader of minority, but it was prudent that he becomes the minority leader, and he led us well. He said it as it is, without fear, without favor. And he would come and tell me, Nikal, on this one, we must look at the benefit of the country. Forget about even party, forget about anything. For the good of the country, we will do this. And he went to any length. If it needed physical confrontation, he did. And one time, when I was trying to stop him, I actually caught, you know that the 11th Parliament, Honorable Mbadi and Honorable Wanga, you know, in that scuffle, I caught one punch which was meant for Jakoyo. And this country will miss Jakoyo because he had no fear if he was telling the truth. And he used to be very emotional when he was saying, this is because of the country. And he had a mastery of information. He would come, I think we used to sit together with Honorable Gumbo, and he would say, Nikal, I've just come and you are reading all these things. What is this thing about? And I'll give him a quick brief. And then he'll go and talk as if he had read the whole bill just from the few things I told him. And his mark, which I want us to all go by, let us do what is good for the country. That is what should guide us. The Honorable Prime Minister, the NASA leaders, and I'm using those words, the NASA leaders that are here, let us do what is good for the country. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Before we move to Senate, we have the Chairman of ODM, Honorable Mbadi, and
to the family, friends, and relatives of the late Honorable Jakoyo Midiwo, our leaders who are here present, I want to also take this opportunity to share my grief with everyone. It is very hard indeed, really, to add the words, the late, just before the name Honorable Jakoyo. But we must accept it, that it has come, and it is a journey that all of us are walking. We will live or depart at different times, but it is really hard to believe. But let me just say a few things regarding Honorable Jakoyo. On behalf of the National Assembly and members of the National Assembly, a number of them are present here. Could I kindly ask those of us from the National Assembly just to rise, both present and former. Yeah, asanteni sana. I just want to say 3 things. Number 1, among the members of the current National Assembly, that is the 12th Parliament, I would say that apart from Millie Odhiambo, I served longer with Jakoyo Midiwo in the National Assembly. All that has been said about Jakoyo is correct and accurate. Jakoyo was someone in the National Assembly, and I remember between 2008 and 2013, we were in a grand coalition government, and that was the most difficult parliament that I've ever come across in terms of agreement. And I remember one time when the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee continuously made decisions that was not really palatable to the one side of the government. There was an attempt to remove the chair of that committee, that is Honorable Ababu Namwamba. And because of Jakoyo's wit in politics, he was a strategist. That is one thing that I think many people have not said about Jakoyo. He was a strategist by excellence. So what Jakoyo did was to look at the procedures, and he quickly replaced Isaac Ruto with John Mbadi, and replaced Sophia Noor with Rachel Shebesh. And we were to join the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to make sure that Ababu Namwamba was not removed. And you see, when we went for the meeting, we were told that we couldn't sit in that meeting because our appointment was not regular and procedural. So when I called Jakoyo, he told me, you know, Mbadi, actually he used to call me Nyang. Nyang, the reason why I appointed you there is because I knew you would fight there. So please execute why I sent you there. And we caused chaos. And the meeting didn't take place. So that is Jakoyo. And we saved the situation. Ababu was not removed. Number two, he was a very honest man, as many have said. And I remember when the late Joshua Ojode died in a grisly accident, there was talk, which turned out to be true, that the Prime Minister would appoint me as the Assistant Minister to replace Ojode. And Jakoyo didn't like it. So he met me and he told me, Mbadi, I don't want you to be Assistant Minister. I looked at him like I was dreaming, because really, who would tell a colleague that? So I asked him why. He told me, Ababu is going to be appointed to the cabinet. You are also being appointed to the cabinet. Who is remaining with me in the backbench? I need you in the backbench. Tulikosana kidogo. I told him, you are only interested in who is making backbench vibrant, but not my personal growth. I have also to grow, and this is my time to grow, so I disagree with you. Then later, he called me and told me he has reflected on it and he thinks it is okay. So I told him, if I'm appointed, I will take it. That is Jakoyo for you. There are so many people who would go behind your back and go to the appointing authority and tell them, please don't appoint Mbadi. But this is a man who is telling you on your face, I don't want you, and for 1, 2, 3. My final comment about Jakoyo is what Nikal said. Let me tell you, Jakoyo was a fighter. On 18th December 2014, those of us who are in the National Assembly would have known, can attest to the person now we are eulogizing. Jakoyo was a fighter. And when the Security Laws Amendment Bill were being debated in Parliament, Jakoyo said, we are not going to accept this. Even if it is turning physical, let it turn physical. And I remember when Senator Orengo and Senator Mudama were almost being thrown from the balcony down. It is Jakoyo who told me, Mbadi, what are you still doing here? You must save Orengo and Mudama. And I went without thinking. In fact, I used to call myself Jaluet Jakoyo. I went without thinking, kicked the door open, and fought physically. I thank God Kenyans didn't see that scene. It was so ugly. But we had to do it because circumstances dictated that it should be done. One thing about Jakoyo, where I think he beats me, is despite all that, he could still reach out to the other side. Personally, as Mbadi, when we are not in the same line, when we are not in the same side, I have no time for you. But Jakoyo was different. among my colleagues present and former, it's only Honorable Gumbo who has visited my constituency like Jakoyo did. So I've lost a friend, I've lost someone who mentored me in politics, and there is nothing much we can say. On issues politics today, I want to reserve my comment. A lot has been said. We have our leaders here. We have the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. We have Honorable Steve Kalonzo Musyoka. We have Moses Wetangula. Musali And Wetangula. Of course, Moses Wetangula is also in the team that I want to refer to. You know, we are in your hands. Do something. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we thank God for that. I know the Member of Parliament for Game is here, and Mheshimiwa, because you will be at home. You will be at home barring here, and we have a lot. We have indulgence. If you could allow us to give more people, probably may not be traveling home. You want to say a word?